You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to the season finale of Takeshi Tuesdays. Don't worry, it's not the final episode. There will be a second season. However, I will be taking a break between seasons 1 and 2. But to wrap up this season, I thought it would only be fitting to talk about the way that I discovered Takeshi Kitano and the way I first got into him. So my introduction to Takeshi Kitano was through MXC, and that's what we'll be talking about today. For those of you who are unfamiliar with MXC, it was an Americanization of Takeshi's obstacle course game show, Takeshi's Castle. For those of you unfamiliar with Takeshi's Castle, it's an obstacle course game show where contestants compete through an obstacle course to get to the end of it. It was quite a long-running series in Japan, and it was adapted into 5 US seasons as MXC. MXC completely recut the show and completely changed the outline of it to make it more comedic. They completely changed all of the dialogue, made it much more silly and over the top. It was one of my favorite things to watch as a kid, and I still love it a lot. MXC is a great game show to watch because of the obstacle courses and the funny commentary that was added in it. I've seen the original version of Takeshi's Castle to an extent too, because they do include some episodes on the MXC DVD sets. And I have seen the British adaptation of Takeshi's Castle as well. The British adaptation is actually narrated by Craig Charles, the guy who played Dave Lister on Red Dwarf. MXC itself ran from April 19th, 2003 to February 9th, 2007. Takeshi's Castle ran from May 2nd, 1986 to October 9th, 1990. The original Takeshi's Castle had a total of 133 episodes, whereas MXC had a total of 81 episodes, so both of them were still relatively long shows, but the original Takeshi's Castle was longer. Now, to be fair, MXC did reuse a lot of the same footage because they would just cut in different segments with Kenny Blankenship and Vic Romano, which were the adaptations of Count Takeshi and his assistant. Vic Romano being Count Takeshi and his assistant being Kenny Blankenship. There was essentially a big castle that was built in the middle of the map, hence why it's called Takeshi's Castle. They rarely show it in MXC itself. And in fact, there's only one scene in MXC where they show the final castle battle, but the final castle battle was a major point in every episode of Takeshi's Castle. A lot of the characters wore over-the-top and crazy costumes in Takeshi's Castle itself, so there's a lot of crazy costumes in MXC, coupled with the crazy commentary. As far as MXC on home video, the first, 4 seasons were released on DVD. The first 2 in their complete sense, as Seasons 1 and Seasons 2. And then Season 3 was divided up into Volume 3 and Volume 4, which is one thing that kind of drives me nuts when a show goes from seasons to volumes. And then there was a Volume 5, which contained the entire Season 4. There was a little bit of controversy a while back because the network that owns the rights to Takeshi's Castle actually sued ABC because they said that the show Wipeout was a blatant copycat of Takeshi's Castle and MXC. So it was sued for copyright infringement. Yeah, the case was settled out of court, so there's not a lot of information on exactly what happened there. But that aside, it's still a fantastic show, and I highly recommend checking it out. Wipeout is a decent facsimile to it. But Takeshi's Castle has a little bit more brutal obstacle courses, which potentially could have got contestants more hurt, and I think that's part of what makes it more entertaining. It's still not like, life or death, obviously. It had to be safe to be made, but it's entertaining to watch, and I highly recommend seeing it if you haven't. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about MXC. It was the way that I first discovered Takeshi. Because of that, it holds kind of a milestone here on Takeshi Tuesdays. It did take me a little bit longer to get into Takeshi's movies. However, I was well familiar with him because of MXC prior to that. Season 2 will start up sometime after my brief hiatus. I'm not going to give any promises on exactly how long that is, but I'm going to take a break from it because producing weekly episodes in a series does require a little bit more consistency than I'm used to. And on top of that, I do want to take a break to work on other projects, but I will be bringing Takeshi Tuesdays back sometime later. And hopefully not too long. I do also plan on bringing back Smith Saturdays at some point, but you'll probably see more Takeshi Tuesdays before you see more Smith Saturdays. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye, and you have a great day.
Right you are, Ken.